I'm here for the interview. Your assistant told me to come in here.
Oh, yes, of course. Come in, Mr. Bachman. Please have a seat. Hello, I'm Mr. Meridian. You must be Mr. Bachman. I'm sorry. I was eating fries, and I'm a mess with the ketchup, you see. I'm very sorry. But let's start the interview, shall we?
Yeah, I'm very excited. I think I'd be a very valuable asset to your company. I have plenty of training in accounting.
Yes, I've seen your resume. Very impressive indeed. I like a man like you, a man who works his way through the ranks of one company, just getting better and better at what he does. And one day, you're in the big boy chair.
Well, sir, that really means a lot to me. I really do appreciate that.
It's no problem, son. In fact, it's my pleasure. You're very successful. More successful than I was. You should really count your blessings. You see, when I was your age, I was working in the dungeon in this building. In this building, our basement, we call it the dungeon because, frankly, it's really creepy. And it's where we store all of our documents. And, yeah, when I was young, it was my job to clean it out. Trash as far as the eye could see. Stacks and stacks of rusty metal and warped wooden chairs. Paper strewn on the floor. All over the place. Big mess, big mess. But I worked down there for 3 years, cleaning and tossing the trash away. Unfortunately, there was so much trash that I couldn't have cleaned up 20% of what was down there. Hell, it's all still down there. But then I got promoted. And then a couple years after that, I got promoted again. All the way down the line until I'm the big honcho in the big boy chair. I've worked for years in this place. It's like a home. There are plenty of secrets. Oh, I suppose I'm telling you too much. Well, you'll get it all when you join the workforce.
Join, sir?
Well, yes, you basically have the job.
Oh, sir, that's fantastic.
I called your previous employers, and they had nothing but praise for you. In fact, you may be the finest candidate for this job I've ever seen. But there were a couple of things that were, unclear.
Like what?
Well, Tyrell Industries, another good company. You worked there a year ago, and you quit?
Well, I mean, it was a good job. I had friends, a promising future, but it was a stupid move. I just thought I wasn't achieving my full potential. You know, I wanted to write a play, maybe get something published.
A play?
Yes, sir. I got really passionate about those things, playwriting, photography, and I thought I could make a career out of it, not just a hobby.
So you quit?
Yes, sir. It was a stupid move.
It sure was. It sure was.
Yeah, but I finally got a job, the same job at McNamee & Sons.
Oh, McNamee & Sons. I'm very familiar with them.
Yeah, they're a good company.
So you quit?
I thought that I had a better chance here, that I had more potential, and this job looked really, really good to me, and I thought that it was good.
I appreciate you telling me about my company, the company I've worked at for 30 years. But the problem is that I called some of your contacts, McNamee & Sons and Tyrell Corporation, and a couple of things confused me. For one, McNamee was no longer run by Stephen McNamee. When did he resign? The person at the other end of the line was a girl, a very sweet-sounding girl.
Stephen resigned a few months ago. And she took over after him.
But that's so odd. You see, we have many friends at this company. One of them happens to be Stephen. In fact, I had lunch with him not 2 weeks ago, and he didn't mention anything about his company. It was merely a nice meeting. It's odd that I didn't hear of his resignation.
It is odd. I don't know why you wouldn't have.
And I called Tyrell Co. They had glowing things to say, but of course they did. But the odd thing about Bob Tyrell, who I haven't seen in a long time, was that I thought he and his wife were far too old to have children. But in the background I could have sworn that I heard kids playing around. I never even knew they let kids work there. I don't like liars, Bachman. Not one bit.
I'm not lying. I don't know what to say about any of this.
I think you are lying. In fact, I know you are. The numbers you gave me on your resume were not those of either Tyrell or McNamee & Sons. You don't think I would recognize cell phone numbers over numbers of a major corporation? Do you consider yourself an ethical man, Bachman? How about morals? Do you have morals in that head of yours? I don't like liars, Bachman. I've never liked them. Ever since I was young, I've had to deal with liars. I've had to deal with those who push me in the mud, who take my candy. But now I'm old, Bachman. Now I'm old, and now I can have a firm grip on my candy. Do you believe me when I say I have a firm grip on my candy?
Yes, sir.
Good. Oh, Bachman, wouldn't you say that blood is a valuable substance?
I don't get it, sir.
Oh, of course you didn't. You wouldn't. You know how much blood has flown through this office? How many people have come and asked me for a job? You know how many of them are crooked? How many of them are evil people? People who don't deserve to work for this company? I've built this company myself, and I'm not going to have people like them working here. Well, you see, what I do with those people is I kill them and I eat them. See, I was eating one before he came in. His name was Harold Manchester, a short, fat little man. I didn't like him very much, and I didn't want him here working at this company. Because you see, blood's a valuable substance, and it's far too common. And what I do is first I cut out their eyes, and then I keep them in a pickle jar at my house, you see, and I use them for martini olives. And then I drain their blood, and I drink it, and then I cut them up, and I eat them. It's really not that bad. That's how most people react. You see, 30 years ago when I was working in this place, I told you about the dungeon. You see, the thing about the dungeon, you remember the dungeon I told you about, right? Well, you see, the thing about the dungeon and the night shift is that it changes people. See, when I was working down there, we used an old freight elevator, and the building hadn't been renovated since Hoover was president. And the crew that I went down with to clean it up, well, we went down with 8 and only 5 of them came back up. You see, the rope on the freight elevator broke, and we went tumbling down through the trash, and we were trapped, and they couldn't get us out. So what else was there to do? It was either going to be me or them. So you know what I did? I ate some of them. They were dead anyways, and I thought that might as well, right? Blood is a valuable substance, Bachman, and it's far too common.
What?
Oh, you've gone off the deep end, haven't you? Oh, it happens. That's okay, because it makes my job so much easier.
Well, look at that. That was the liar you told me about, right?
Yeah, a real bad guy. Real bad blood.
Well, I'm glad you set him in his place.
I saved something for you. Hey, you remember the elevator?
Yeah. Hell of a ride.
Sure was. Hell of a ride. Hell of a ride.
Go ahead.
You should count your blessings.
Go ahead.
You should count your blessings, son.
Go ahead.
Yes, I've seen your resume. Very impressive indeed. You see, I like a man like you. I like a man who works his way through the ranks of the... I'm gonna eat you now.
Go ahead.
Dungeon?
Go ahead.
I've had to deal with those who take my candy and push me in the mud. But I'm old now, Bachman. I'm old enough to have a firm grip on my candy.
Go ahead.
No one takes my candy now, Bachman. No one. Do you believe me when I say I have a firm grip on my candy now? Do you believe I'm old enough to have a tight, firm grip on my candy? Just continue looking at my hand and I'll say, good.
And, go ahead.
Good. Oh, Bachman, Wouldn't you say that blood is a valuable substance?
I don't get it, sir.
Oh, of course you didn't. You wouldn't. Man. I'm sorry.
What? I thought you